Hey everybody, welcome to Shattered Skull Studios. It's Raven Wolf, and we're doing another deck tech for another Friday. Basically, let's just call it Free Deck Friday because I'm going to be giving you a deck list. And this one is going to be a little weird. Me and my buddies were playing Magic one night, and yeah, we came up with an idea for a tribal deck that nobody really ever plays. I've never seen anybody play it, and he was like, basically trying to come up with ideas for a tribe that has enough stuff to do anything. And yeah, so let's go ahead and head down. Basically, this is Centaur Tribal. We have Carador, Ghost Chieftain. This creature costs 1 less for each creature card in your graveyard. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature card from your graveyard. And so yeah, basically it's gonna be like Centaur graveyard recursion ET being stuff. So going down to the creatures, we have a Cursed Centaur, which is when it enters battlefield, sack a creature, which is basically it's a 1-mana 2/2. We have Adaptive Automaton, and just to go back to it, with a Cursed Centaur, when it ETBs, you can sack itself. So you basically turn 1, throw it in the graveyard if you want to, just to make your commander that 1 cheaper. Adaptive Automaton, when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It is that chosen type in addition to its other types, and other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. Basically, it's a lord for your centaurs. Battle Scrounger. Threshold, put 3 cards from your graveyard at the bottom of your library. It gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn, and only if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard. Basically, if an opponent's going to like Bajuga Bog your graveyard or exile something, as long as you have 7 more cards in your graveyard, with this dude, you can just put 3 into the bottom of your library to save them. Centaur Healer, when ATBs, gain 3 life. Centaur Nurturer, when enters battlefield, gain 3 life, but it also taps for mana. Centaur Omen Speaker, as long as it's tapped, spells you control cost 2 less to play. Creature spells. So you can basically go on attack, go to main phase 2, and there you go. Centaur Rootcaster, when it deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land, put it into play, tapped, and if you do, shuffle your library. Centaur Safeguard, when it is put into a graveyard from play, you may gain 3 life. Centaur Vinecrasher, in this battlefield, number 1 counters on it, equals number of land cards in all graveyards. Whenever a land card is put in a graveyard from anywhere, you may pay 2. If you do, return Centaur Vinecrasher from your graveyard to your hand. I could also probably, because of that, because I totally forgot I put this one in here, I can go do something here in a little bit. We'll do that at the end. Chronicler of Heroes. When enters battlefield, draw a card. If you control a creature with 1/1 counter on it, which we will try and do. Conclave Cavalier. When it dies, you create 2 green-white elf knight creature tokens with vigilance. We have Conclave Mentor. If 1 or more counters be put on a creature you control, put that many +1. When it dies, you gain life equal to its power. It's a hardened scales on a stick, but it's also life gain. Courser Crucifix. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play a top card of your library if it's a land card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, gain 1 life. Crowd Control Warden. Enters the battlefield or is turn face up, put X counters on it, where X is the number of other creatures you control. Force Mage Advocate. Return target card in an opponent's graveyard to his or her hand. Put 1 counter on target creature. So if your opponent's going to try and basically like recur a creature from their graveyard, you can just tap him, put it back in their hand. So they'll still have it, but they won't get it back that turn. They just wasted resources to get it, and you get to put a 1/1 counter on something. That's my idea behind it. Graveshifter, basically it's going to enter as a centaur, and it's going to let you grab a centaur from your graveyard. Greenbelt Radical. When it's turn face up, put 1 counter on each creature you control. Creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. Basically, it's kind of like the very cheap Credo Hoof. It's a baby hoof. Innocuous Researcher. Attacks, each player reveals the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you investigate, then each player draws a card. At the beginning of your end step, you may untap all lands you control. If you do, you can't cast spells until your next turn. So basically, if you don't have any way to protect yourself or anything like that, but you just want to have mana open for any of your other abilities, it's a weird one, I would say, but it's card advantage, stuff like that. And you can investigate. Jarreel's Centaur. Flanking. Whenever a creature without flanking is assigned to block this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And it has Shroud. Leaf Dancer basically just has Forest Walk. Masked Vandal. Enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile a target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Basically, if you're not going to be able to get something that you might need, Masked Vandal will pretty much help you. Metallic Mimic. Choose a creature type. It's that creature type. Each other creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. Basically, it's gonna make all your dudes come in a little bigger, and with the hardened scales, yeah, it'll work. Museum Nightwatch. When it dies, you create a 2/2 blue-white detective creature token, and it has Disguise. Basically, it's just something that when it dies, you get a little bonus. Nylea's Disciple. When it enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green, which hopefully is a lot, or at least something. Phantom Centaur. When it comes to play with 3 counters on it, if damage to be dealt to it, remove only 1 counter from the Centaur and prevent that damage. Protection from black. I'd say it's pretty good. It's gonna be a pretty out there Centaur. Ferris Band, War Chief. Vigilance, Trample. Other Centaur creatures you control have +1/+1 and have Vigilance and Trample. Really good Centaur. Really good Lord for Centaur. Possessed Centaur. Threshold. It gets +1/+1 and is black and has 2 and a black. Destroy target green creature. Realm Walker. Basically, you're going to be casting Centaurs from the top of your library. Return Centaur. When it enters the battlefield, the target player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Selesnya Eulogist. You can basically graveyard hate your opponents, and any of your stuff that makes tokens, you can make extra of those tokens. But also, it's a 3-mana 3/3, and it's a Centaur. Sutton. Croson Protector. For 3-mana 2/2. Tap an untapped druid you control. Add 1 green mana to your mana pool. So, yeah. Basically, for each of our druid centaurs, we're going to basically tap them, use them for mana, do more stuff. Set and Scout. It may block as though it had flying. And Threshold, it gets +2/+2. Stonehoof Chieftain. Whenever another creature you control attacks, it gains Trample and Indestructible until end of turn. And V2 Ghazi Guildmage. Basically, we're going to make 3/3s, or we can just pay the 4 mana and populate. So, it's not a druid, or a centaur, but it will at least give us centaurs, and we can, do other stuff. Going to sorceries. Call the Conclave, just to make a 3/3. Dread Return, basically just as graveyard recursion. Doom Blast as a board wipe, especially with our commander. We'll be able to at least cast things of our own that we destroy. Feed the Swarm for removal. We have Genesis Wave, which is basically with Sutton or any of our other ramp, we'll just basically try and oops out all of our permanents. Kindred Dominance. Basically, we're going to choose Centaurs, destroy all non-Centaurs. Kodama's Reach for ramp, 3 visits for ramp. Triumph of the Hordes. Basically, this is kind of our win con here, when we're going to basically try and just go over all our opponents. Unearth for cheap graveyard recursion. Victimize. Basically just, grave recursion will hopefully sack one of our tokens and get 2 creatures back. Chroma's Will is mostly for protection, but also as a win con. And They Shall Know No Fear, basically it's just protection for our Centaurs. Or Mutation is removal, and it'll make us some blockers. Beast Within, basically it's removal. Aspiring Call, each of our things with counters on them, it'll be protected, and we draw a card. I say this card is very underrated. Rampage of the Clans. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 Centaur token. We have an Abzan Banner for a Mana Rock, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere. Door of Destinies. When we cast a Centaur spell, put a charge counter on it. All our Centaurs will get +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. Herald's Horn, it will make our Centaurs cheaper, and it's card advantage. Because we can, if we look at the top card of our library, Centaur, reveal it, and then we get to then draw our card for turn. Soul Ring for ramp. Vanquisher's Banner. Basically, it's a lord for all the Centaurs, and when we cast a Centaur, we draw a card. For our enchantments, we have Aura Shards. When a creature comes into play, under your control, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Basically, it's going to be a removal. Caithar's Crusade. Basically, when a creature enters the battlefield, we pull a counter on each of our creatures. It's going to be a way to make all our board bigger. Centaur Glade. Basically, 4 mana. Make a 3/3 Centaur. Folk Hero. Commanders, creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card. It's only true once per turn. Basically, this is a 2 mana enchantment. If we control our commander, it's a card advantage when we cast another Centaur. It can be taken out pretty easily. It's not like anything important. So, if you want to add in more removal or more protection or more ramp, Folk Hero would be a card to take out. Hardened Scales, when one counter would be placed on creature you control, place that many +1 instead. Karmic Justice, whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent we control, you may destroy target permanent that player control or that opponent controls. So basically, if our opponent decides to destroy any of our artifacts or enchantments, or they want to destroy a non-basic land, cool. We're gonna go back and we're gonna hit them pretty hard. Then we have Unnatural Growth. At the beginning of each combat, we'll double the power and toughness of each creature we control until end of turn. So yeah, that will basically help with, especially we have the things that give our Centaurs trample. Yeah, it's another win con card. So for this one, what I'm going to do, because I kind of messed up, we're going to remove 1. We're going to do what's called Evolving Wilds. And then we can basically, because of how our mana is divvied up, whoops, I misspelled it. Terramorphic Expanse. Alright, so there we go. We're back. Oh, I need one more. What am I missing here? I need one more card. I'll see what's that. Another land, maybe? No, we need to add something that's not one of these. Because we have 33 lands, which is what I always try and keep everything at. So that's what that's 45, 51, 58, 64, 65. So I need one more. What would be another really good card to cast from our graveyard? Let me think here, guys. I got piles of stuff. What is a good recursion card? Probably add a black card, maybe? Because if we add a black card with recursion, Let me think. Actually, let's just add another land. Let's add another fetch land. Is it not Ghostly Quarters? Whoops, I can't. There you go, Ghost Quarter. Um, hmm. You know, for a 1-mana land, that's not bad. But I thought there was Ghostly Quarter, which was weird. Alright. But yeah, there you go. So, basically going to lands, we have Canopy Vista for dual lands, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds for fetch lands, Exotic Orchard, we have 8 forests, a fortified village, we have a Ghost Quarter, as I just added in, Croson Verge as a fetch land, Oran Reef. Basically, we can just put counters on our creatures that ETB that turn. Overgrown Farmlands as a dual land. We have 5 plains. Secluded Courtyard. Basically, it's kind of a tribal land. Sungrass Prairie is a filter land. 5 swamps. Temple of Plenty as a scry land. Terramorphic Expanse as a fetch land. Unclaimed Territory. Underground Mortuary as the surveil land, so we can fill our graveyard. And we have Woodland Cemetery. And yeah, guys, so I'm hoping my mana is fixed enough. I tried to calculate it, so it might be a little off. Actually, let's take out this, and then we're gonna add in Temple of Silence. So we're gonna make the deck a little more expensive, which is fun. But yeah, let's go ahead and test it out and see what we do. Whoops. Playtest. Restart. Alright. Immediately, we have a Canopy Vista, which will come and play tapped. Or the Evolving Wilds. So, turn 2, 1 and 2 are not going to be great. So, what I'm going to do is Evolving Wilds, we're going to crack it. View Library, and we're going to get a Forest. Maybe we should grab a Swamp? No, we should grab a Forest. Close and shuffle. Oh, we got the draw for turn. Next turn, we could easily do Croson Verge or 2 basic lands. So yeah, I would say let's do Croson Verge. We'll give it away next turn. We'll do a plains. We'll crack, and we're gonna go grab another forest. Right. For card or the plan supplement, opponent graveyard tapped, and then yeah. Alright. So now go to our next turn. Our next turn we could easily do Centaur Vinecrasher, which will enter cards all graveyard. So it'll come out as a 3/3, which is okay. We also do Phantom Centaur as a blocker if we wanted to. Or we could do Herald Horn. Basically, we have a bunch of things we could actually do, really. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do this dude. There you go. So he's a 3/3. We'll go to our next turn. So it's basically turn 5. Play nope, can't be Vista because we have what we need. We're going to do a Herald's Horn for 3 mana. Go to turn 6, but before we draw, so we don't have that yet, oh no, it's that. So yeah, we see this, we're drawing that. We'll do that. What is this? Centaur Glade, I want on top. What else? We could easily do the Conclave Cavalier, or that, or that. So yeah, we have things we can do. We just can't use Dread Return, which is fine. Let's go ahead and restart, see if we can get another game. So we're gonna draw. Cool. So for Evolving Wilds, crack it. I'm gonna go grab a forest. Close and shuffle. Next turn. Oh, hang on. Next turn. There you go. We're going to Terramorphic Expanse. Crack it, and I'm going to go get a swamp this time. And that would be tapped. We can't really do anything. So next turn, what do we want to do? Because do we have a 3 cost? We don't. Actually, we do. So we're going to do Fortified Village, Revealing of Plains. We're going to cast Kodama's Reach. I'm going to grab a forest. Put it in the battlefield. And a swamp. Put it in my hand. Because that's how that works, right? Any other into your hand? Yep. So, and we can't really do anything, which is fine. So go to our next turn. We could do Krosan Verge. Yeah, we'll do Krosan Verge. We're going to cast Return Centaur. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. No creatures, very sad. Next turn. Oh, man, because of this. Actually, let's go ahead and we'll... That. 3 visits. Do we want that in the grave? No, we'll keep it on top so we can ramp some more. Just don't have a lot of mana to do a bunch of stuff. 5 mana? So what I'll do is I'm going to do Battlefield Scrounger. Because we have 7 things in the grave. I can just return 3 things. So that's a pretty good turn, actually, I would say. Plus we have blockers. He's a big booty dude. Next turn, we have 3 visits for ramp. And we have Phantom Centaur. We have 6 mana. But we have no cards in our graveyard. Let's go ahead. I don't think we can, because that's 8 mana. We need 2 cards in the grave. 2 creatures in the grave, specifically. So I'm going to do Phantom Centaur. And 3 visits. Yeah, I have enough green mana. I have exactly enough green mana. No, I have 1 extra, so it's fine. So 3 visits. Search your deck for a forest. Put it on the battlefield. Close and shuffle. Can't do anything with it, so go to next turn. What we have here. That's ramp. But we could easily also we can cast our commander, but our commander's not going to do anything. So we'll do this dude and this dude. Yep. I'm kind of sad we haven't had like an explosive turn in anything. Maybe because of what it is. So I think with this one though, I'm going to Terramorphic Expanse. I'm going to crack it for a forest. Forgot to draw. And then we'll go to next turn. Next turn. There's battlefield. That's fine. We're going to choose Centaur. And then what we're going to do is Soul Ring. Mostly because Soul Ring is just that good. And we're going to Selesnya Eulogist. Boom. And we start hating on our opponent's graveyard and populating. We don't have anything to populate yet. Turn 2. Unless you control 2 or more other lands. So we'll come and play untapped. And we can do an Aurora Shards to start blowing up our opponent's stuff. And yeah, we've had an explosive turn already. Next turn, what we got? Can't cast that. Actually, we can cast him if we wanted to. Actually, I don't see an issue with it. What's that one do? And we gain 3 life on that one. So here's what we'll do. We'll do that. We'll do a Cursed Centaur. It'll go to the grave. And then we'll Centaur Nurturer to gain 3 life. Blow up something of our opponent's, hopefully. Next turn, we could... We have a lot we could do, actually, with this 5 mana. Oh, 6. We have 6 mana, actually. Commander's 8, though. So what we could probably do is cast... We'll cast Centaur Healer to gain 3 more life. And we'll cast Karmic Justice in case they want to blow up Soul Ring or Aurora Shards. So yeah, turn 5, this is doing pretty well, especially with only 3 lands. Next turn. Cool, we'll do a Return Centaur. That's easy. Boop, and target player mills the top 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next turn. How many creatures are in graveyards? Can we actually look at the graveyard? View all. So that's 1, 2. So, okay. So we have 2 creatures in the graveyard. Our commander is now 5 mana instead of, no, 6 mana, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 mana, we cast our commander. And on our next turn, cool, we even have a land. And we have a forest, so it comes to play untapped. We could easily view all. Ferrispan Warchief we could cast. There we go. And we still have 3 mana. With that 3 mana, we could probably do Herald's Horn, I would say. Or we can exile something to populate. We don't have anything to populate. But we could also do Herald's Horn. We'll see if we'll do Herald's Horn for card advantage. And yeah, turn 8, you've got a board, you've got Graveyard Recursion. Yeah, I would say yeah. I'm enjoying this deck. It's a little slow because this is a Power 7. This is a casual deck. Mostly because it's limited to Centaur Tribal and all the other type of stuff, guys. But yeah. Tell me what you think. The deck is less than $200, but I will say if you're looking for just the Centaur creatures, the Centaur creatures priced out when I was making this list was 28 creatures for or 29 creatures for $13. So yeah, $13 you get the core of the deck, which is the creatures, and then you can build everything else how you want around it. It's a pretty good budget deck. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe for more stuff in the future, and I'll see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.